Good morning. Today we're going to work on trends in stock closing prices. This is Cycle 4. As you're probably aware, the stock market prices can fluctuate based on a whole lot of different factors. And we've seen the highs, we've seen the lows, we've seen the openings, we've seen the closing prices. But having all those differences can often make it difficult to spot trends over time. So in this section, you're going to learn two techniques that will give you insight into analyzing historical stock market closing prices. Actually, we're only going to do the first technique. We're not going to do the second half of this chapter here, or this section. We're going to look at simple moving averages. So you know what an average is. When you add up, 5 items and you divide by 5 the number of items, that would just be a regular average. But simple moving averages are calculated by determining the average closing price over a given time period. So you can have 3-day, 5-day, 6-day simple moving average. And when you do that, it's going to smooth out your graph so it doesn't fluctuate as much. And the longer the moving average time interval, the smoother the graph is going to appear to be. And in stock market speak, moving averages are known as lagging indicators because they use past data. So that's not going to predict what happens in the future, but you can use simple moving averages to look for patterns. So simple moving averages using the arithmetic average formula. All right, one way you can do this, you can just find the averages for days 1 through 5, the average days 2 through 6, the average 3 through 7, the average 4 through 8, the average 5 through 9. So here we go. If I did the average for these, and I already did these, adding up those 5 numbers for days 1 through 5, dividing by 5, you would get 35.22 is the average price for those 5 days. For days 2 through 6, you would get an average price of 35.21. For days 3 through 7, you would get an average price 35.32. Days 4 through 8, 35.55. 5 through 9, 35.74, and 6 through 10, 35.89. And so you can see over here on the 5-day moving averages, if you just plotted all those days, how there was a big peak on day 9. But if you did the moving averages, you can see how it smoothed out the trend. And this is what we're talking about right here, smoothing out the trend. So the move that we're making occurs by, what are we doing each time? We're deleting the first day's closing price and adding the 6th day, since it's a 5-day smoothing average. We're adding for a 5-day smooth, for a 5-day, the moving average. That's essentially what we're doing each time. not including the first day or the previous day, and we're adding the next day's closing price into our average. So simple moving average using the subtraction and addition method, subtracting out the first, adding in the next day. So notice how, suppose you wanted to determine a 3-day simple moving average for 6 days. This 3, if it's 5-day, your denominator is 5. If it's 3-day, your denominator is 3. So in this case, we're going to do the simple moving average for 6 days of trading for the 3-day average. So basically what we do is, if you look at this example right here, this is our first day, so days 1 through 3. This is going to be days 2 through 4. Notice how we subtract out the first and we add in the next, or the 4th day. And so rearranging our terms algebraically, it's going to be B plus C plus D divided by 3 for days 2 through 4. We're going to do that here. All right. Thank you. Days 1 through 3. For days 1 through 3, it's going to be 121 plus 122 plus 120 divided by 3. When we put that into our magic calculator, we're going to get the average for days 1 through, oh, wait a minute, we're doing 4 days, sorry. Let me erase that. I got carried away. Plus 119. And that's all over 4. That's going to be days 1 through 4. All right, so when we put that into our magic calculator, we're going to get an average of 120 and 50 cents. So now we want to look at days 2 through 5. I'm just going to box that in, days 2 through 5. Well, what do? We subtract, we take the average, subtract out the first day, so we want to subtract out 121 divided by 4. We have our average, 120, 50, and then we add into that the next day. So the next day would be the day after 119, that's 124. Also 4. So it's kind of not good to start your sentence with a negative, so I'll show you what we'll do for the next round. So days 2 through 5 have an average of 121.25. So now we need to go days 3 through 6. And days 3 through 6, we're going to start off with our average, 121.25 from days 2 through 5. So we're going to go 121.25. We're going to subtract out the previous term, so that's going to be day 2. And day 2 was 122. So 122 over 4. And we need to add in day 6. And day 6 is 128 over 4. And that's going to give us an average of 122.75. And then we have our final days 4 through 7. So we're going to take that 122.75. We're going to subtract out. We want to subtract out day 3, which is 120, and add in our last day, which is 126. over 4. And for day 7, that's going to give us an average of 124.25. So our simple moving average, our 4-day simple moving average is going to be 120, 50, 121, 25, 122, 75, and 124, 25. So making sure we understand what the concept is, we're going to do a 3-day simple moving average for these closing prices. So days 1 through 3. And that's just going to be adding 28 plus 31 plus 37 and dividing by 3. That's going to give us 32. If you did that ahead of time. Days 2 through 4. Well, we take that average of 32. We subtract out the first. That's going to be 28 divided by 3. And we're going to add in the next, which is 38 divided by 3. And that's going to give us $35.33. For days 3 through 5. We'll take our previous day's average, which is 35, 33. We want to subtract out day 2. So that's going to be 31 over 3. And we want to add in our final day, 35 over 3. And for this average, we get 36.66. So for our 3-day SMA, we're going to get 32, 35.33, 36.66. And our final question, what would the 8th day of trading, day's trading closing prices have to be so that the next moving average remains the same at 124.25? Well, if we were going to look at days 5 through 8, that would be what it would, or not 5 through 8, 5 through 8. Yeah. I think I got my numbers off. These numbers are off. 1 through 3. 1 through 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. All right. If our previous average was, oh, that's why we're looking up here at the first example 2. I gotcha. All right. So if on day 5, let's see, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 through 7. Okay, so the last one we did was the 124.25. So 124.25, and we subtract out day 4. So let's go up and look at day 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Day 4 was 119. So 119 over 4. And then we add in, well, we don't know what that is, but if we know it's out of 4, and we want it to equal the same as average that we started with, 124.25. Well, looking at this, the average we started with and the average we ended up with is the same. So the only thing that might change is in here. And the only way to get that to go away is if x were to equal 119. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll get better at this.